Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to do your September the 4th Spiritual Principle Day in a meditation. The title of the meditation, Choosing Freedom. We are free to change our minds, to change our perspective, and to change our lives. Freedom means that we are no longer living by default. That comes from the Living Clean book, Chapter 3, Awakening to Our Spirituality. In active addiction, we lived in a kind of default mode. We neglected responsibilities and disregarded the consequences of our actions or inaction. We were utterly vulnerable to our defects. We self-destructed and harmed others. A member offered this metaphor. I was on an amusement park ride that started off fun until it made me sick. But by then, I didn't get off of it. By then, I couldn't get off of it. Although living by default made us miserable, even the slightest suggestion that we could change would elicit a defense. That's just how I am. Trapped is how we were. Trapped by our resistance to getting off the ride we were on, fearing and avoiding change. Still today, we're sometimes trapped by our willful denial and rigidity. Outside ourselves, change is inevitable. Recovery helps us deal with this fact. Within ourselves, change is a net positive. It's a dynamic force exercised through the freedom of choice we now have. Freedom isn't just a state of being, the member continued. We practice it by choosing to change. We're no longer trapped on a nauseating ride. We leave the active addiction amusement part behind. Life in recovery is a whole different part. As we realize our true selves, we achieve some freedom in NA. Maybe it's less that we change and more that we become who we truly are. We grow less attached to our story. We can write a new one. We can re-examine aspects of ourselves we never thought to question. Our religion, political leanings, musical taste, even the food we eat. We get to be curious. We're free to not be so cool. Being clean allows us to challenge our belief systems and behavior patterns, to be and to feel a little less trapped. We don't act on impulses often. A breath provides a moment to respond with love, not fear. At our best, we are flexible, evolving, able to be influenced by others. There's freedom in open-mindedness. We learn how to say no and to say yes. Though there will be times when we fall back to default mode, we don't have to linger there. We have a new life to live. I will live this day consciously and with purpose. In choosing to change, I'm choosing to be myself. I'm choosing freedom. What a beautiful meditation. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. What a wonderful meditation. Really, honestly, I'm struggling to breathe. I'm struggling to speak. I'm struggling. We have COVID-19 in our home, and so I'm struggling. But my spirit is so full after reading this meditation. We have a choice that we get to make. And sometimes, as it's stated, sometimes instead of choosing freedom, we intentionally choose to stay in this willful denial and rigidity. This is who I am. This is what I've been doing all these years. I haven't had a problem. Other people have had a problem with it, but I haven't had a problem with it yet, which is not true, right? But I'm not changing anything, and this is how it is, and this is how it's going to be. And a lot of times it takes another bottom in that energy, right? It takes another bottom in that energy, or I should say in that area, something to fly back and hit us in the face to wake us up. I've been here. I've been here before. I'm not changing anything. This is who I am, and this is what's going down, and this is exactly how it's going to happen. And then enter in another actor, another human being with their own feelings, their own mind, emotions, physical body. Enter in another human being, usually one that is just as stubborn as I am. And now all of a sudden the game has changed. Well, this is what I'm doing. What are you doing? Well, this is what I'm doing, and it doesn't look like we're on the same page. So that means that my page wins. Actually, no, it means that we sit down and we have a conversation and we come up with a different page that we both can agree to. That's what's supposed to happen. But sometimes I'm just not with that. And when I'm not, and I stand my ground, I don't budge. I'm like the North going Zacks, right? From Dr. Seuss. When I stand there and stand my ground, I find myself either standing alone or a lot of chaos jumps off. And I have to figure out, is being so rigid here worth it? And there's been instances where I felt it was worth it. What I was standing on, mostly in relationship to my faith, right? When I was standing on that, I would say the blowback off of it was worth it. But in most instances, I still ended up having to compromise because it was not only affecting me, but the people I love around me, my lack of compromise. So we need to know when to choose freedom and what that looks like. What does that look like? For me, it's not repeating the same mistakes, the same things over and over. They're not even mistakes after a certain point, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? So it's not that some of the stuff that I'm even doing over and over and over are mistakes. They're choices to remain in bondage. And a lot of times in bondage to other people and situations. And we can get off of that will at any point in time that we want to. I hope today that you will live consciously and with purpose, and that in choosing change, you're choosing to be yourself and you're choosing freedom. That's what I plan to do. That's what I plan to do today. I'm choosing to force my hand and take more time for my studies. I'm choosing that. I didn't take 3 years of this level of intense education not to pass the exam. I'm choosing. I'm choosing to add more hours to my internship so that I can complete the hour requirement, free and clear, owing them nothing. I'm choosing that. And there's only a few things that I will allow to tap my energy that don't include that. And it's centered around the people that live in this house, my family, the boys I'm raising, and my husband. Anything outside of that can probably wait and will probably have to wait. I'm choosing because I've chose the other way And it's got me down to the last few months of not being near completion. And that, my folks, is not going to happen, right? So figure out for yourself what you need to choose differently on and stick to it. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose.